Hey everyone, Gabba here, and it's been a while. It's been over 2 weeks, and I can only apologise for that, but a lot has changed, both professionally and personally, which is why I've not been uploading as much, but we're getting back into the swing of things with a 500k squad builder, and as always with these, I don't mess about. I don't spend 10 minutes putting the players in and then explaining. I'm showing you the squad already, and here it is. This was, I believe, 485k on PS4 and about 520k on Xbox, at least at the time of recording this video, so a little bit under or over, depending on platform. But anyway, let's get into the swing of things. So, in defence, we've got Alphonso Davies, Elvedi, Sommer, Ramos, and Carvajal. Now, we'll start with the keeper, Jan Sommer. He's not the best, but he does have some good attributes. First one being that he's got 86 handling and 85 kicking. At this kind of price tier, under 20k, you don't see many goalkeepers that have really good all-round stats. You know, they're either missing distribution but have good diving and reflexes, or they have this distribution but then they don't really have other attributes, like they don't have any traits, or they're just bad goalkeepers. But Sommer does have the comes for crosses trait, which I find is quite important this year. If only he had long throw, that would have made things even better. But he is 6 foot, which is the main negative. He does have 4-star weak foot though, again making his distribution even better. If you do like passing from the back, Sommer is your man. But we do still have upgrades planned for him. Now in defence, we'll start left and then go to the right. We've got Alphonso Davies. Pace is not a problem on this left side. He's got 96 pace, he's 4-star, 4-star. Chances are most of you have used Davies by now. He's a good defender. His stats aren't the best, but because of that pace, because of his agility and dribbling, he just feels good on the ball and he does sweep up quite well. Just because of how FIFA is at this stage of the game, there's not many good fullbacks, so you probably won't be getting much better than Davies unless you go the icon route, like I had to get a well-rounded team. Well, anyway, Davies is who we picked for the left side. The left centre back we've picked Elvedi because of that hyperlink to Sommer, and he looks like a really good defender. He's only 13k, but he's 6'2". He's got really nice dribbling, passing, and pace stats for a centre-back, and he does have the traditional defending stats to back it up. He doesn't have any traits, unfortunately, but as you can see, 6'2", 3-star, 3-star. I feel like he's going to be a good ball-playing centre-back. And then another good ball-playing centre-back to the right of him is Sergio Ramos. I used him for about 250, 300 games, and the only reason I don't have him is chemistry. If I could put him in my team, I would do. The only thing he's missing here is pace. He has absolutely everything else. He even has 78 agility, which is almost unheard of for a centre-back. And he's got everything. You could even play him in centre mid, especially if you upped his passing, but it's good enough as it is. There's nothing he's missing. The only upgrades maybe here would be Van Dijk or Varane, but only Varane would fit here, and he is one of my proposed upgrades. But great defender, and he's only about 60k, which it still boggles my mind, really. He's in the same category for me as Eden Hazard, for people that are really underpriced. Now, the right back, Carvajal. It's hard one with Carvajal. He's not the best, really. He's got good enough defending, he's got good enough physical, he's got good enough passing, but he doesn't have the pace. He also doesn't have any player traits, and he doesn't have 4-star skills, which some people do like on fullbacks. Yeah, because of that pace, it is hard for me to recommend him, going into Team of the Year, going past that, but he is a good fullback nevertheless. The issue here is that there's not many upgrades, unless you do go the icon route, just because EA have kind of neglected the right back position for promo cards, and in La Liga, there's not much. There's one potential change of player, and that'll be Jordi Alba off chem at right back. That's what I did to solve the pace problem, because I do use a lot of pace myself. He was good enough, Jordi Alba, so if you do need pace, feel free to use him off chem there. Now in midfield, we've got Goretzka, David Silva, and Valverde. Standing with Goretzka, he's got 4-star weak foot, he's 6'2" as well, and he is so well rounded. There's nothing he can't do. He even has 82 composure and 87 reaction, so he's got good attributes there. You could play him anywhere. Realistically, you could probably even play him right back. Yeah, he really impresses me, and he's that kind of player that I would suggest, even for teams going up to 1 million, 1.5 million, if you don't already have a star player there. Now, this David Silva card, we'll move on to him next. 93 passing. It's one of the best passing overall attributes in the game. And you can see there he's got 96 vision, 97 short passing, 96 composure, 95. He's got everything. There's so many stats above 90. The only negative here is that 2-star weak foot. He's got good work rates. He's left-footed, which kind of works in this team. And he's got really good traits, but the 2-star weak foot does let him down. But if you can ignore that, you've probably got the best player in the game for 150k, aside from probably some 2 million coin icon out there. Really impressive player. And now for the DM in this team, Valverde. He doesn't have any traits, but he has everything else. I personally actually used him as a right back in my old team, and he was more than good there. He could go forward just fine. Going back, he was a really good tackler, always in the right place at the right time, and generally just really good. Definitely played better than his stats, but I do think it is partially because of that pace. If you can afford his inform, absolutely go for it. That is the card that I used, but even his normal card will be absolutely fine. He's high work rate, 6 foot, 3-star, 3-star. Really nice card. Again, I don't think he costs more than 5k still at this stage of the game. And now looking at the attack, we have Leroy Sané, Lewandowski, and I believe it's team the group stage Port 2, or it might actually be road to the final. Yeah, it's road to the final Port 2. And fitting that attack in a 500k team, especially with the midfield and defense we've got, I'm quite happy being able to fit all of that in the budget. Sané, he's pace. There's nothing really else to say. He's fast. He can finish. That's it. Yeah, he doesn't have the best stamina, but realistically, you're going to be subbing off attackers in the 65th minute anyway, so I'm not too concerned there. And now Lewandowski. Just look at the striking stats. Look at the shooting. That's all I need to say. He's got 94 finishing. I'm really impressed with this card. I've used him for a few games on loan, and he really impressed me. One of the only reasons I don't have him is his chemistry. I don't use any Bayern players, and I don't do anything with the Bundesliga. But really, really good player nevertheless. And now this Port 2 card. This is a bit of a controversial edition. With teams like this, I don't like to add dynamic cards, because if you're watching this a few months in the time, Port 2 might be way more expensive, but right wingers in La Liga are hard to come by, and Port 2 is definitely the best, aside from someone like Leo Messi, who is a potential upgrade here, although you would probably have to get... if there's a Sergio Roberto inform in the future that's centre mid, or De Jong, and then switch out David Silva for someone. It'd be hard to fit Messi in, but you would be an upgrade. But this Port 2 card, let's talk about it. He's 3-star, 4-star, high work rate, which is interesting for a right winger, but he also has fairly okay defending stats. But anyway, the reason that you get this card is he's fast, he can shoot, and he's strong. He's got 76 strength for a right winger. It's really nice. He's also really aggressive. So if you do like to press high, you like to pressure defenders, Port 2 is really, really good for that. And looking at traits, he has finesse shot and speed dribbler. So I think this card is going to play very, very well. And right now, at the time of recording, he's only about 160k. For this kind of card, really, really nice. If you compare to like Player of the Month Oyarzabal, or again Player of the Month Ansu Fati, I think Port 2 fits really well in the middle of those in terms of how good the card is. But anyway, next up, we're going to talk about the potential upgrades for this team. Now, there are indeed a few upgrades that I'd recommend here. You notice that they're all defenders and goalkeepers, and that's because the midfield and attack is quite hard to upgrade. But anyway, we'll get into that in the last part of the upgrade section of this video. So anyway, goalkeepers. Sommer's alright, but he's not the best. So the first upgrade I'd recommend really is the goalkeeper in this, but by proxy, you'd also have to upgrade the left centre-back. So because of that, I would recommend that you stick in Neuer, either the inform or normal, and then either Alba or Klostermann. It purely depends on your budget. Both are fairly close in stats right now, but Klosterman does have the potential to upgrade. But if we do look at both, we've got Alba, who is really all-round. He's only 5'11", but he does have 4-star weak foot. And then you've got pretty good defensive stats, really good passing and dribbling stats, and he can even pull off a good shot here or there. The only thing he's kind of missing is physical, but a anchor will fix that, or even I believe a sentinel will fix that as well. And then with Klosterman, it's pace. He has 90 sprint speed, and he has good defending stats to back that up. Also, 86 reactions means that he is up there with, the high tier and even elite defenders, despite just being 83 rated. But looking at the goalkeepers anyway, we've got Neuer. His base stats are really nice. He's 6'4", 4-star weak foot, and he has the traits to match. The only thing he doesn't have here is saves with feet, but otherwise, really, really good traits. Especially comes for crosses and rushes out to goal, I find are really, really important if you know how to use them. But if you want an icon, I would recommend Van der Sar. I personally have used him for 66 games, and I would honestly say he's won me at least 10. He's only lost me about 2 or 3 as well, which is very rare for a goalkeeper. Usually goalkeepers are liabilities in this game, but Van der Sar with his, icon prowess, along with being 6'6" and having similar traits to Neuer, means he's a really hard match for most attackers. But anyway, we move on to the last upgrade I'd recommend, and that is Varane instead of Ramos. Now, I love Ramos. If it was me, I would find it quite hard to replace Ramos, but I do acknowledge how good Varane is. I actually had him for this weekend league and only got rid of him so I could afford the Neymar and Mbappe combo. And on another note, wow, I didn't think that combo would be so good, but it really is. But anyway, back onto this. Varane is a stunning defender. We all know who he is, and we all get frustrated whenever we play against him. He blocks way too much. He's 6'3", but I don't know how he blocks so much. He's fast, he can defend, he's strong, he isn't missing a beat. The only defender who might be better is Van Dijk, but even then, that's an arguable one. He's about 180k right now on Xbox. Not sure about PlayStation, probably quite similar. And yeah, probably one of the best defenders in this game. Next upgrade potentially is getting Messi instead of Porto, Griezmann instead of David Silva, and then De Jong maybe instead of Valverde. But at that point, if you're spending that much on upgrading the team, you may as well just get another team. But other potential upgrades are purely the inform versions of Goretzka, Sané, and then either the inform Lewandowski or the Player of the Month. But also, one other upgrade is the road to the final version of Davies. If you're, planning on making a team and keeping it for the rest of the game, Davies is a player you want to pick up, purely because Bayern are looking to potentially get to, the quarters, the semis, maybe even the finals of the Champions League. And realistically, Davies is going to be a stunner of a card at that point. He's going to have mid-80s or even maybe low 90s in defending, and he will have 99 pace in no time. He's already on 97 for that road to the final card. But anyway, we move to the custom tactics. And here we go for the custom tactics. Because I've not built this team, I can't actually show custom tactics directly, but I'll be able to describe them anyway, so here we go. Goalkeeper, I always keep on default, I don't mess with it. Same with the centre-backs. If you want to keep a good defensive line, set them on conservative, otherwise keep them on normal, but do not set them to aggressive. Same with the right back and left back. I personally keep them on conservative, again, to keep that defensive line. I also keep them on stay back when attacking, especially in a 4-2-3-1. You've got plenty of attacking options. You don't really need the fullbacks, and if you do, you can create a manual run with them. You don't want them to auto run because they will get exposed, especially with Davies, who has high attacking work rates, and anyone especially that's high-low. I believe Dani Alves used to be back in the day. You really, really don't want them on get forward. Keep them on stay back, and then you can either set them on inverted or overlap depending on preferences. I personally have them on inverted because I like having quite a central form of attack, but your mileage might vary on that one. Have a play around with that. Defenders, keep them on stay back. I always have the left one on drop back between defenders, and then the right DM just on default with that one. but I always keep it on man mark, purely because if you try and get them to cut passing lanes, the other player will just pass around them if they're any good. So keep them on man mark, and again, keep them as far back as you can. And when defending in a 4-2-3-1, you want to defend with the defensive midfielders. So with Goretzka and Valverde, I'd recommend having an anchor or even maybe a sentinel on Valverde, purely because he's already fast enough and he could use the defending buff. Now, I actually misplaced David Silva and Lewandowski there. There we go. That's all good. So with all of the attacking midfielders, you want to have them on get into the box. Aside from that, I actually keep them default because the AI is usually good enough at sorting attacking runs automatically. But this David Silva, you want to use him as the pivot for attack. You want to use the defensive midfielders to pass to David Silva, who will then distribute it to the wings or even up to Lewandowski if he's ready for a through ball. But yeah, use David Silva as the focal point. And then as for chemistry styles, probably a hunter. He doesn't need the passing and he doesn't need the extra dribbling. It's really good as it is, but he could use the shooting, especially if you shoot on his right, you want at least some chance of it hitting the target. So hunter is what I would recommend there. And then as for the wide cams, this is purely preference because Sané is left-footed and Porto is right-footed, so you could easily just swap them. But yeah, get into the box for them. And then as for chemistry styles, it's a hard one for Porto. You can't really go wrong with anything here. It probably depends what you want to do more with them. I personally do a lot of shooting with my wide players, so I'd probably put something like a hunter. But if you want a bit more of a pace buff, but you also want a little bit of extra agility and then good passing, you know, if you cross into the box a lot, then maybe something like an engine. Again, you'll want to play around with this one. But absolutely get into the box with them and then keep everything else on default. And then with Leroy Sané, same thing applies. Maybe something like a Hawk, because then you get near to that max 99 pace, and you get the strength, and you get the extra finishing, which will be quite an important one, especially if you want to shoot with him. He doesn't have the best weak foot, so you do want to stick just to his left foot. And then with Lewandowski, this is one where, again, you want to play around. The good thing with the rest of the tactic I've described is you have quite a lot of freedom with what you want your striker to do, especially with it being Lewandowski. He can pass quite well, he can dribble well enough, he's strong, he can hold up the ball. So with the striker, have a play around. I personally have him on getting behind, even though I've played with slow strikers. I still have them on getting behind because they make the right runs that way. And with the amount of support that he's got behind him, especially in the centre, with the extra custom tactics I recommend here, you're going to have a lot of freedom in the attack with this tactic. But anyway, to show you the rest, I'm actually going to go to my main squad because we're going to recommend the same there. This is my main squad at the moment. I'm really pleased with it. I do want to change my left centre back though. I sold my Varane just so I could afford Neymar and Mbappe, and wow, the records speak for themselves. But anyway, we look at the custom tactics here. We'll be looking at this one. Now, this is very similar to what Harry Hesketh recommended. I think I made just a little bit of adjustments based on how I play. But the key thing here is pressure on heavy touch, because especially if whoever you're playing against likes to play from the back, you want your attackers pressing whenever the defender touches the ball quite badly, you know, when they have a mistouch or when they pass really short, you know, when they're from a top angle, you want to press there. I wouldn't have press after possession loss. It will get your players tired. You might want to use this if you have, you know, a really good squad, but with this tier, I wouldn't recommend it. And constant pressure, out the question. So pressure on heavy touch. When you're defending, you don't really want to be that wide, purely because the formation is wide enough as it is. And if you have it any lower, you'll get exposed on the wings, and if you have it really wide, then you'll get exposed in the centre. So I find 4 is quite a good combo, and then depth 3. If I had the choice, I would do 6 or 7, because that's how I like to play, but I got exposed too much like that. So set it to 3. If you're being adventurous, set it to 4 or 5, but don't set it any lower than 3. I find 3 is a sweet spot. Now attacking, long ball. This is purely because with your wingers, they're fast. They will expose most fullbacks, and especially centre-backs if they get into the centre. Lewandowski will have a tough time with some fullbacks, but either way, long ball should be just fine. Width, you want to have this quite high. If you watch any pro players or quite good players play, you'll see they play very similar, and they push their players up the wings and then go for a near post ball, or they'll just go for a short ball across the box. Unfortunately, you might need to play quite similar to that. I like playing away from the meta, but sometimes you have to cater to it in that way. And plays in the box. We've got that at 6. It's a bit of a tricky one, this. It depends on how much you want to break away, because this is effectively a counter tactic. You will be sitting back a little bit and then pushing forward very quickly. So you could have this all the way up to 8 or even 9, but you will get exposed if you do that. So I set it to 6 because I find that's quite reasonable in that I get enough attacks in that I have a good chance of winning the game, but then it's hard for me to get exposed. And then corners and free kicks. This is purely preference. It depends how good you are at each one. I find with my main team, if I have it at 2, I find Van Dijk's pushed up, but then I have enough people back. So if there is a really quick counter attack, we can nip it in the bud. But if you're really good at corners, push this up to 3 or 4. And likewise, if you're really good at free kicks, push this up to 3 or 4. I keep them at 2 though, personally. And then you'll see similar things for my instructions. You see, I've got all get into the box there. I'm not sure why I have normal inceptions there. Let's back to conservative. But yeah, there we go. That is it for that's it for the video. That's it for the custom tactics. If you do like me going more into these custom tactics in depth, please let me know. For the time being, with the current meta, things won't deviate that much with custom tactics, so this might be the only video where I go really in depth. But as the meta shifts, I will be doing more videos on custom tactics and kind of explaining the footballing behind it. But if you guys want me to do any specific squads, with specific players that you have, or just you want to see your price point, you've got 1 million coins and you want a squad to spend it on, let me know down in the comments below. And if you made it this far, drop a like on the video. I don't ask very much, but I have not made a video for a little while, so it'd be good if we can get back into swing of things. But anyway, that's it for the video. Cap signing out. Take it easy, everyone.